panel question. I just want to ask something to Luis, since we are in a panel. And I always thought interesting when you started your presentation, you discussed about Navegação, Renustara, and so on. And I think that also in the public discourse, in the newspapers in Mozambique, there's a lot of hype about cabotage, the highway of Mozambique, and so on. So we know what happened to Navegação, we know what happened to Renustara. What will make SMC different in this regard? I mean, what's changed in the market, and what are you putting on the table that can make cabotage work in Mozambique? At least I'm doing a bit of moderator work also for you, if you don't mind.
Okay, so it's a difficult mission. It's true. It's a difficult mission, and Navegação succeeded during a lot of years because there was no alternative by road, because we were living on a civil during the Civil War. But then later it started decreasing, and then rail store was not a successful initiative or experience. We still believe there are a lot of changes that must be done. We are working closely with the Ministry of Transport, because there are a lot of things that must be done in order to optimize or to make the cabotage profitable. First thing, let's see, cabotage in several countries has always been supported or even subsidized by its governments or by the states, or by some economic agents. First of all, I believe stronger negotiations must be made with the port authorities and with the concessionaires of the ports. Because, in fact, and we showed the figures to several people, in order for the cabotage to be profitable, the port tariffs must be drastically reduced, first of all. Otherwise, it's not economically viable. Second thing, there's another thing that we are also discussing. For example, the taxes over fuel. There's a percentage of that tax of the fuel that it's a tax for road maintenance. It doesn't make sense. We don't spoil the roads, and we pay a tax for the maintenance of the roads. So there should be also a tax reduction on the fuel as well. And then there's a third thing that we are also working and we are also fighting since the beginning, is the problem of customs. We must work on the simplification, because we already have tools with the net
Janela única.
Yeah. So we urgently need to simplify the process of the customs. We cannot wait to fulfill a vessel with 260 TEUs. We cannot wait for customs to come and open all the containers and verify what's in for already nationalized cargo. So at the origin and at the destination. But this is all problems that we are addressing straight directly with the Ministry of Transport, and we hope that we will arrive to some solutions, because as I say, we believe that the sea is the biggest highway in Mozambique, so we just need to find the right tools to explore it. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. I think Nicola is trying to skip a little bit, but I'll find them in the middle of the way. Nicola, with the vast experience that Mediterranean Shipping Company has in linking corridors, engagement in the facilitation of corridors and inland terminals, in your opinion, how can Mozambique and the SADC region reduce long cargo clearance times?
Okay, thank you, Denise. I was thinking about this, and for me, the issue of dwell times and custom clearance is a good point, because it highlights one of the nodes, let's say one of the delays in the flow, in the efficiency of cargo transports, especially for landside transports. But it's not the only problem. I mean, the easy answer to your question, what can we do to facilitate custom clearances, is digitalization. But I mean, it's a loaded word, can mean a lot of things. I don't think it addresses the overall challenges that we have, especially in Mozambique. Because the real question is, how integrated or how fragmented is the logistics in Mozambique, and how can logistic integration be a driver towards a more attractive port, ship and railway market? Because I mean, everyone's hinted it here tonight or today, both on the rail side and on the door-to-door deliveries, and also the discussion done by Fernando Couto regarding the importance of providing integrated services to clients. And you know, when I was thinking about this panel, I wanted to find some sort of way to make the concept of logistic integration immediately relatable, not only to industry insiders and to experts, so people that know the field, but also, you know, to a wider audience and people that, you know, participate in the public discourse regarding logistics. And this got me thinking about quarantines and lockdowns, because it's something that we've all experienced. We know what it means to be locked somewhere and having to somehow interact externally to receive the goods that we want. And you know, during those times when we were locked in our homes, we opened up our phone, and with a few clicks we managed to order our dinner or anything else that we wanted and have it delivered to our doors, you know, within a few hours or even within a few minutes. And the way that system works is because it works on an integrated system. So I place an order at a restaurant, the chef prepares the meal, the takeaway box is made, the driver picks up the box, navigates through the city, maybe pays a toll gate, goes through the police, gets to my building, discusses with my security, gets in, rings my doorbell, I receive my food, you know, and we immediately understood that it's a great system, because I didn't have to interact with 15 different actors or have to pay each, the restaurant, the delivery guy, the toll gates and so on. And you know, on the flip side, we need to understand what a non-integrated system would look like. We mean exactly that. I mean, I would have to phone the restaurant, phone the driver, get a delivery box done, pay the toll gates. If the police stops my driver, I have to intervene in some way. And you know, anyone that's worked in logistics in Africa understands that someone that works in a landlocked country, or even just in inland, without direct access to the port, lives that reality. Meaning they need to get their goods delivered to them, but to do so have to interact with customs, that's one node that blocks the flow, with the ports, with the shipping companies, with the railways operators. And global trends in logistics have been for years directed towards integration of services, right? So reducing the number of interactions between actors and moving towards a vertical integration where terminals, shipping lines, freight forwarders, rail operators offer a comprehensive service to the customer from their factory to the door of their customer. So that's, you know, if we have to look at how we can improve the dwell times on the transport, we have to say, is Mozambique logistic market integrated, and what can we do to move towards that?
Thank you so much. David, the transport sector is one of the sectors that will be liberalized with the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Which strategies can be implemented to improve the current infrastructures and put the SADC region in a commanding position?
Thank you very much for the question. I think we need to take stock of where we are and what our constraints are going into the space of the free trade agreement. Current constraints are effectively they're built onto costs. What are the costs? What are the turnaround times? What are the port handling fees? And what are the delays? And how are these impediments impacting our current trade? And what does that mean for when the free trade agreement actually kicks in? If we look at our current environment in Africa, 80% of our goods are transported on road, 90% of our people are transported on road, and 53% of these roads are unpaved. So it kind of gives you an idea as to where we are and what we need to get right. With the free trade agreement coming into play, before the free trade agreement, I think we were sitting at 15% of our exports being intra-Africa trade. But that is expected to increase by 40%. So how does that play into the current port environment? With the costs and the bottlenecks. I think the strategies that should be looked at are an increase in government investment into port and rail and transparency in that investment. And what it'll do is it'll encourage the private sector to collaborate with investment in port security, cargo handling, streamlined integration, ICDs, etc. The intergovernment agreements in transit freight. So an example of this, once again, is the agreement between Mozambique and Eswatini and removing the rail border. That kind of strategy is fantastic and will increase turnaround times, increase returns massively. The Luxembourg Rail Protocol is a massive can be a massive benefit to our rail networks. What we're seeing is we have a little quip in our industry that there's no such thing as an underutilized rail wagon in Africa. Every single rail wagon that we have in our network, if it's operational, it is operating. So I think the Luxembourg Rail Protocol will increase investment into private rolling stock, which would greatly benefit the movement of freight along our rail networks. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Luis? The costs of transport are largely influenced by poor and fragmented conditions of the existing infrastructure. How do you think that the cost of cabotage can be reduced in the region?
So this is a little bit the same subject that we discussed. So first of all, we need to know that cabotage in several countries has always been partially supported or even subsidized by governments as a matter of national interest. And it's a national interest to develop cabotage here, because we need to take out the pressure from the roads, because it increases safety, security, and it gives a big attractiveness to international lines, like, for example, MSC, because cabotage can be the last leg that international lines are not interested to. So to transport in several national ports. So it's a matter of national interest to help developing cabotage, and in other countries they do the same. So for that, I think port authorities and port concessionaries, even for not only for their social responsibility, but also for the increase of attractiveness of the ports they manage, they should help cabotage to develop by decreasing drastically the port tariffs. Also, the reason of the existence of such conditions in Mozambique is because for several years the cabotage activity has been suspended. And when the port concessions were negotiated, there was no inclusion of special protection conditions for the cabotage activity. So, but that is something that we still hope that we can change with the assistance of the government and with the port authorities and port concessionaries to achieve. To discuss, to open the books, to see the figures, and to see what we can do for make making the cabotage activity work in Mozambique?
Recently, the President announced new measures, fiscal measures, benefits to improve the business environment, I think was last week. Do you think, because in one of the measures they speak about transport sector, do you think that there is space for cabotage to be included in that type of benefits that we created?
Of course, there's a lot of tools. There are a lot of tools. It's just to do the calculation. There are a lot of tools that can be applied in order to make the cabotage sustainable activity.
Going back to Nicola. Yes. Customs regulations, procedures, and bureaucracy are considered as barriers to doing business in the SADC region. As we are operating in an integrated region, how can we minimize the impacts of these barriers?
Thank you. So I think I touched on some of those points earlier, but I think the key point in this question is how does Mozambique place itself also in relation to the Southern African Development Community and how to integrate, again, the issue of integration. But when I speak about containerized cargo, so I work in, not in bulk, which is completely different, but in containerized cargo I can provide you some insights and some data, because the unique, let's say, the attractiveness of the Mozambican logistic market is that its main ports, so Maputo, Beira, and Nacala, are not only, but one would say even not predominantly Mozambican ports. They are the ports of a series of landlocked countries, so Zimbabwe, Zambia, Malawi, the DRC, Eswatini, and also of some countries that are not landlocked, like South Africa, right? And over 50% of the containerized cargo, so it's about 500,000 containers, 450,000 TEUs that are loaded and discharged in Mozambique each year. 50% of that is in transit, right? So this means that Mozambique's 2,400 kilometer coastline truly is the eastern gateway into the Southern African Development Community. And this logistic and geographical position will take center stage as the African Free Trade Agreement acts as sort of a catalyst to regional trade, cross-border movements. And so as the trade globally is towards of economies and of markets is towards integration, so larger blocks working in an integrated system. The duty, and so what logistic operators, but also the public sector, the Ministry of Transport, as you mentioned, our responsibility is to make sure that in the logistics that underpin these macroeconomic systems are integrated themselves, because without it, you're going to find yourself with spiraling costs, because you have to navigate through an integrated system in a non-integrated way. Its contradiction is in the sentence. Thank you.
Thank you. David, most of the large infrastructural projects are state-owned and funded by international organizations. How do you think that is possible to promote regional integration, empowering local private sectors to participate in these projects?
I think the design of the projects from inception needs to be done in a way that the risk allocations are apportioned correctly and with the competitive advantages of each party in mind. So, for instance, the private sector are incredibly efficient in their operations and their administration, and they would be well placed in provision of services. So, the public sector, they will be able to fund the projects in a way that the private sector just simply cannot, because they've got access to cheap funding. So, I think the risk allocations need to be taken into consideration from inception. The cost recovery now many massive infrastructure projects, they'll only start making profit years in advance. So cost recovery needs to be taken into consideration if the private sector are to be involved. And this is a balance of commercial viability with social objectives. What are we subsidizing and how much? Who are we subsidizing? And what benefit is it giving to the taxpayers? And the neighboring countries who are utilizing the service. A high standard of public and corporate governance. This is to ensure that the private sector understand the corporate risk of the involvement in the projects and the management of this. If they can manage the risk, their involvement will ultimately be cheaper. Create a competitive environment to enhance the private sector's efficiencies, promote regional cooperation, and harmonization of policies. I'm a rail guy, so I'm talking rail. But one big thing is the third-party access. So in South Africa we have our national rail policy, and this has aligned our policy with our neighbours, allowing, hopefully, soon to be allowing a private operator to hypothetically commence a trip in Cape Town and end in Dar es Salaam, with their own locomotives and own wagons. Currently there's a changeover point on the border of South Africa which is inefficient. So the integration of policies between the member states is important. And the public regulatory body, I think, is essential to manage that. One that is well-resourced and competent and shielded from undue influence.
Thank you. Luis. Enhancing maritime safety and security is a major port goal which has impact on the cost of maritime transportation. In Mozambique, what are the current challenges in port and interland logistics?
In fact, the HAC standards of some ports is below the standards, the national standards that we would have. Mainly if those ports are willing to operate for the oil and gas industry, which has very high standards concerning health, safety and environment. So talking about safety, yes, there is some work to do. SMC, Sociedade Moçambicana de Cartagem, in partnership with CFM, already took the initiative of training the port and maritime administration workers in Pemba. This was done when we started the project for Total, for the development of the logistic base for Vecchio. So we took that initiative in partnership with CFM, and we are also organizing the implementation of a management system for the port traffic, because we're going to share the same space between the commercial port and the oil and gas logistic terminal. Yes, in some ports where we want to develop the oil and gas, mainly where we want to develop the oil and gas activities, there's a work to be done. The ports that have already concessionaries, they come with international standards that they must accomplish, so the standards are a little bit higher. Concerning security, which is against threats, there's no history until now of threats on the sea, like piracy or insurgent attacks on the sea. So it's not a big concern for the moment. However, SMC signed an MOU with Ministry of Defense in order to have promptness for organizing security escorts when the activity starts with a specialized company on security, maritime security, in order to organize escorts for the supply vessels that are going offshore or that are going from Palma to Afungi the day that the activity resumes from the coast to offshore.
Perfect. I have more questions, but let me ask the public if they have something to ask before we proceed with the panel. Any questions, comments, suggestions? I think they like our conversation. Let's proceed. Because no doubts. Okay, let's proceed. Thank you. It's plus 3 questions. Okay. Someone. They had someone there.